This is the Startup Social Podcast, your inside look at the Austin startup world. We get real with local founders and business owners who share their toughest challenges and biggest wins. All right, everybody, welcome to Startup Social Podcast. My name is Samantha Rojas, and this is my first time doing the podcast. Daniel put me on the spotlight last night and told me, hey, you're going to do it today. And I'm like, all right, well, we'll see how I do. So today we have Matt Stephenson, the executive director and co-founder of Code to College. Code to College is an Austin-based nonprofit that is directly addressing the lack of diverse technical talent seen locally and nationally. They got an innovative program model, and we're going to hear about them with some skill-based opportunities, volunteer opportunities for technical and non-technical professionals. And we're going to hear about all of the great work and incredible growth that the organization has experienced today. So Matt, tell me, before you tell me about Code to College, tell me about yourself. How did you start all this stuff?
Sure. So way back, I grew up in New York and started out in finance and information systems for college. And so way back when coding wasn't sexy, I sort of paid for college by coding on the side and doing some web work. And I found that there were just incredible opportunities that were being unlocked through these coding skills. And so I'd always wanted to offer up these skills to students who were underserved and who didn't have traditional access to them. And so fast forward 15 years later, I moved to Austin just about 3 years ago and looked around and saw you've got all of these companies with corporate offices here. You've got Verbo, you've got Apple, IBM, but you've got tens of thousands of students who lack access to computers, to technical careers, and thought, why not bring them together? And so Code to College was born.
Nice. So I like that. I mean, are you doing more like high school and middle school or not college? I mean, you want to get them to college, right?
Mm-hmm. So they're exclusively high school students that we work with. We source volunteers from all of these tech companies. We partner with about 40 of them right now, and they go into the high schools, teach them our curriculum and how to code. In addition to that, on a weekly basis, or soon to be a monthly basis, we go to different corporate offices to teach them professional skills like how to build your first resume, interview skills, and then ultimately we place a number of them into paid summer internships where they earn a couple $1,000s over the summer.
All right. So why did you start Code to College? Like, where did you see the lack of, coding, teaching stuff? Like, did you see it back in New York, or did you see it here when you got to Austin?
So I hear it all over. I mean, anecdotally, I definitely see the lack of diversity, not only when I was working in financial services, but then also working with a number of engineering organizations. But then you also read about that there's always a lack of diversity and we can't find the talent, and the diverse tech talent pipeline, it's empty, right? And we thought, well, that's not actually true. And we have an opportunity here to work with students who are from Central Texas, empower them, educate them, get them in that talent pipeline, and recruit them to work here in Central Texas at all of these tech companies who traditionally say, well, we can't find the talent.
Well, they can't find it because a lot of kids that want to do that stuff or that would want to do it, they don't have the resources.
Right.
I mean, a lot of kids are very fortunate to have all these computers and all that, but there's a lot of low income high schools and middle schools and all that stuff that don't have that privilege.
Yeah.
So I completely I like that.
And accessibility.
Yeah.
A lot of families and households don't have Wi-Fi or any of that broadband connection, and if they're lucky, they hopefully have that at school, but that's the only place.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. They don't even have computers at home. Their parents don't have the monetary resources for that. So I really think that what you guys are doing is really great. Let's see. So your professional career, did that have anything to do with Code to College as well?
Yeah, so I started out in finance. I was working at Goldman Sachs in credit risk management. Loved the work that I was doing. Was doing that for just over 2 years. Was doing it during the global financial crisis, or right ahead of it. Left before it started, so
Okay.
left in '07, and my best friend, actually worked for a nonprofit that was focused on placing minority undergraduate students into front office roles. So banking, sales and trading, IT. Loved that experience and wanted to bring that type of experience and access and exposure to high school students, especially those who never considered that college would be an option for them. And so I went to business school, then I became a high school math teacher, then I did some other things in education before moving here in Austin. And I originally came here to become a director of finance for a school district, but about 3 months into it, started working on Code to College.
All right, so you have an idea of how, I mean, you were a teacher, a math teacher, so you have an idea of how these kids kind of like think and how they do things.
Mm-hmm.
So did you incorporate any of that stuff into Code to College? Like
Yeah.
make it easy for them to understand it, like more interactive and like fun in a way, I guess?
That's a great question. So as a math teacher, sometimes it's like pulling teeth to engage students. And a lot of students think math is horrible, but I always lived by the mantra. No, I said math is life. Say it with me, math is life.
No, well, math is life.
Thank you. Exactly right. So I tried to bring that same energy and engagement to students here with Code to College. And what's been particularly not challenging, but a priority of mine is working with our volunteers. So we offer a skills-based volunteer opportunity, and we're getting software engineers from these top companies to teach students how to code. Now, the way they learned was traditionally in a lecture style in a large college classroom setting. The way that we do it is much more activity-based, because we want to focus on students being engaged and enjoying the fact that they're learning how to code. So that's been a top priority and something that I've been able to infuse my teaching background in.
Well, I mean, I particularly don't enjoy math and all that stuff, but I mean, if you make it fun, and that's with anything, if you make anything interactive and if you make it like easy and like fun to do, I feel like a lot of more people would like try and do that thing as well.
I agree.
A little more easier.
I agree.
So doing
We'll
this.
do math problems later.
All right, I thought it was not with that in college, but I guess not. But so you've been in this kind of business for a while. Has there been like any ups and downs that have been like, done anything to you?
So one of the most impactful experiences in our trajectory has been we participated in this event called Philanthropitch. Basically, it's like a Shark Tank for nonprofits, where you have to pitch your growth plans for your organization. You've got 3 minutes to do so, and you do so in front of 6 CEOs. And I did this back in 2018, but I was pitching in front of Kendra Scott herself, Gay Gaddis, Jag Bath, CEO of Favor Delivery, and it went really well. We were able to secure $35,000, but then in addition to that, 4 out of the 6 judges, they said that they each wanted 2 Code to College interns the following summer.
Nice.
Yeah. So it's a huge, and then one of the representatives from Alamo Draft House ran down and also said that they wanted to. So we got 10 internships secured that night. It was huge.
Wow, that's awesome. Yeah. So everybody was like, whoa, I want to get into this.
Yes.
Nice. I'm pretty sure that was very reassuring for you, and like, oh, thank God, like we got like all this stuff secured now.
Mm-hmm.
I bet that felt really good.
It felt great.
To have all these people, like, and then the Alamo Draft House running down and telling you, all right.
We haven't gotten any free movie passes, but it's been a good partnership.
Just gotta be like, yo, like, can I kind of want to see this movie? It would be nice if I could go. Just gotta talk to them.
Okay. I'll try that one.
So has there been, that's an up, of course, it's like the most influential, but has there been any like downs?
There have definitely been downs. It's hard for me to remember them because I try.
You try to like
just not,
put them out of your head.
Well, it also just doesn't feel like there's enough time to dwell on them. I will say a challenge has generally been finding talent. That's been something new for me, moving from the the employee side of the table to the employer or the manager, and trying to find talent to staff up the organization. We're now in our 4th year, and we just hired our first full-time employees 2 months ago.
Nice.
So it's been great and exciting, but that's also learning how to manage people has been an adventure.
Yeah, no, I mean that like you're by yourself, and then you have to you have all these people that you have to look over and make sure that they're there. You have to keep a little trust in them,
Yeah,
making sure
they,
that
they tell me that.
yeah, yeah, you have to make sure that you trust that they're gonna do what they're supposed to do.
Yeah.
I'm sure that's hard. Daniel knows about that. So, how do you balance life and business? Is there a problem with that? Is it easy? Is it hard?
So I made a commitment about a year and a half ago to put my health first, because I think, especially as an entrepreneur, there's a tendency to just work every minute of the day that you're awake, at the risk and sacrificing everything else. And so, about a year and a half ago, I had said, my health was horrible. It was horrible. And so I joined Orange Theory, and now I go every single day. Yeah. Oh, yeah?
Oh, yeah.
All right,
I love Orange Theory. Shout out.
You do Hell Week?
Yeah, oh my gosh, I did. I got a t-shirt.
I got my shirt. Yeah. So I just said, you make the choice, the conscious decision every single day for what you're putting first. And go to college is important, but so is my health.
Yeah.
And I can't give my best to the organization or to my staff or to the students that we serve if I'm not looking at that. Same thing with family. I could, on my drive in, I could always just focus on work calls. Instead, I call my mom every Wednesday. I call my sister every Thursday.
I mean, you gotta take care of yourself first to be able to take care of your business and everyone else.
Absolutely.
That's the thing that I feel a lot of people have to realize, that you have to take care of your health and yourself, and make good decisions and eat healthy and all that stuff. It's kind of hard, but it's worth it in the end.
It is hard, especially with Tips Treats everywhere.
Oh,
It's just...
and Pluckers and just pizza and everything.
Well, pizza, I'm okay. I'm from New York, so the pizza, I'm good.
Oh, you don't like the pizza here? You do not.
We can go to the next question.
All right, no pizza eating here. So tell me, what do you have any new business ideas, any goals? What's next?
So since we're in our 4th year, one of the biggest things that we've been working on is giving our corporate partners access to now our college-going population, because we've been serving high school students for all these years. Now they've started to attend college. So we've got students at UT, Georgia State, A&M, UT Dallas. They're generally staying in Texas, but they're going to college now, which is huge. And so we're growing our partnerships in that way. And then in addition to that, starting in 2020, we're going to scale outside of Central Texas.
Nice. Are you gonna go right now you're just here in South Texas, and you're trying to go south, north?
Yeah. So we're talking to 2 partners right now about funding our expansion. So there are 2 cities in particular that we're looking at.
All right. Well, that's great that you guys are expanding.
Yeah.
I have a question. Can you talk about that experience of pitching and getting the difference between, you have to sell finance, those who can finance or who would like to contribute. You have to sell school districts and principals, and you have to sell students to become part. So you got 3 different levels.
Mainly
so can you just kind of threw that out, just kind of about the difference between that and things you've learned from those pitching the 3 different demographics with 3 different needs.
Absolutely. So pitching is something that I've had to become really good at and still working on. I think one of the biggest things is to know your audience and know what they care about. And instead of, I think it's cliche, but one of the biggest things I've learned is you don't sell the product, you sell the solution. And so I could tell you, I could talk to you all day about Code to College and all the wonderful things we do. But if you're just looking to volunteer, I've got to talk to you about what need we can fulfill for you. So if you've been looking to apply your skill sets to serve students who need to learn how to speak to adults who aren't their parents or teachers, then that's what I need to tap into. If you're a principal, then you probably care about 100% has been internships. They want to hear about the internships, right? If you're a corporate partner, it depends on who you are, whether you're an engineering manager, whether you're in community engagement. I need to know what you care about before I pitch. So before I even open my mouth, I'm doing research. I'm looking at your LinkedIn. I'm talking to people who know you, and then we're having a conversation.
Right. So doing your research.
Yeah.
Really, really big part of it.
Some people call it stalking. I don't think it's stalking. It's just LinkedIn, Google.
You're looking to see what you can talk about and what you can tap into and like make sure that they're interested.
Yeah.
So like with this pitching and stuff, would you say it's harder to pitch to like the high school students who are you trying to get into the program, or like the corporate, or which one's harder?
I would say pitching to principals has been the hardest, just because they are so distracted and they have so many people vying for their attention. They have their assistant principals who essentially they're delegating everything to. They've got the teachers who always want something but they need to support. They've got the community, they've got students and their parents, and then they've got people like me, which they throw into a bucket called vendors. So it doesn't matter, and that's why my pitch for them has to be so crisp, because if I don't have them in those first 3 seconds, they're like, I don't have time. Even if I do get them, a lot of times they're like, I forgot.
They forget about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you really have to make an impression on them.
Absolutely.
All right. Yeah.
I know you mentioned that the pitching part is something you feel like you have to work on.
Mm-hmm.
What do you feel as a business owner and entrepreneur is your strongest point within your company, within your business? Like what's your strength? What do you feel like you're best used to?
And just so I'm clear, we as an organization or me in particular?
You specifically. Then as an organization, but you first.
So a former manager said that this is a strength of mine, and I think I didn't realize it until she said that and started to talk to people more, but I would agree with it, is that she said that I build rapport with people very quickly. And one of the things that I, as a business owner, as a founder, I have to rely on is relationship building and management. Mm-hmm. And if people cannot trust you, they will not work with you. And so I think that has been key for me to be able to unlock doors that, candidly, other organizations who are in our space and have been trying to do a lot of the things that we've been doing have failed at, because they haven't been able to build a relationship. And also, I would say, coupled with that is knowing how to manage relationships. Mm-hmm. I can be deferential to a fault sometimes, but I've also got the long term in mind, and so I'm okay saying I apologize. Yeah. I'll say I'm sorry if it means that we can maintain this relationship and move forward. But I think a lot of folks tend to be, especially in the nonprofit space, tend to be a little bit more short-sighted. And then I would say, as an organization, one of our strengths is that we tend to engage with the entire community at all stages. Whereas, again, a lot of nonprofits, the focus is, can you make a donation? Yeah. Can you make a donation? And we say, that is one way that you can support us. Another way is by volunteering. Another way is by hosting a workshop. Another way is by a clothing drive because our students need interview clothes. Mm-hmm. Another way is by hosting there's so many ways. I tend to say, there's no reason for you to not engage with us. We have a whole suite of ways that you can engage with us from top, and I start at the top. And you say, you can't do that? Or what about this? What about this? What about this? And we get all the way down to, you can give us $5, $10, $15. And if you still say no, that means you don't want to engage with us.
Yeah. I like that. There's something there that everybody can participate in some kind of way that fits them.
Mm-hmm.
That's strong. I like that. And I'm the same way. I'm a huge energy person. I like to connect with people.
Yeah.
And so I love sales.
Yeah.
But I love sales because I'm really good at connecting with people.
Mm-hmm.
So when I get off a sales call, a sales presentation, and I hear them say like, we got to make a decision, but we really like you. We feel like you're going to be great to work with. That's kind of like my strong suit to be able to genuinely connect with people. So I can feel that.
Hence me being here. We just
Yeah.
connected.
We did. Which is kind of, it's a little different because you from New York area. I always say East Coast. In Texas, or a lot of people from the South, we'll talk to anybody.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I've been necessarily on the East Coast, but even when I was up in Washington D.C., people don't talk to anybody else. They'll kind of look at you like, what do you want? So it was. I mean, we did. We've been here at office that we work, and we were getting ready to do a podcast, and then you was like asking questions about it, and that's how we actually got connected.
Yeah.
Nice.
A lot of people from upstate that are really not like that.
And then he was like, wait, you're from New York?
Yeah. I was like, what? Because a lot of people, they're very much not like that.
Yeah, I've heard people like go there, they're like, you look at them and they're like, they don't smile or anything. No, that's true. I've never been to New York, but.
No holding the doors.
Yeah.
Dang.
Okay, all right. Is that where this is going?
What's going on in New York?
I've been here a couple years now. We can talk.
He about to start defending
All right. Well, I don't know if anybody has any more questions or anything. Because Daniel stole the light. Oh. Chris.
So I think I mentioned that I used to work in high school, Pflugerville High School, and I know you guys are at Pflugerville High School.
That's right.
And so, from a parent-student perspective, can you talk to us a little bit about where this coding stuff is going and what's the next wave, and how I got a 4-year-old, so I want her to be, and now you got a tribe of kids too. So,
Pitch to him now.
we all need to be there and make sure that we're educated in the marketplace of what's going on. And I want to make sure Remy is introduced to coding, but I don't know. Technology moves so fast.
Yeah.
Coding may not be the thing in 5 days. It may be something else. As a couple of years ago, app development wasn't there, and that's a huge market now.
Yep.
And so, just kind of talk to us about the industry and then how we can make sure we're on the wave as parents and as students and children.
Yeah, that's a great question. So I always so there's this TV show that was on for a little bit called Halt and Catch Fire, and there was this quote I remember hearing, and this guy said, "Computers are not the thing; they're the thing to get us to the thing," and that's how I look at coding. A lot of folks look at coding as though it's the end all and be all, and rather I think it unlocks opportunities, it unlocks doors. And so a lot of my friends who are still working in financial services, if they're applying to new jobs, some of them, they're counted out because it says coding went from optional to preferred to required. And so if they can't code, they're locked out of that opportunity. So they don't have to code, but if they don't code, they're
limited.
And they're limited. Exactly right. And so I would say the same thing for children. They should learn how to code. If they want to be a software engineer, it would be ideal. But also just knowing how the technology around you works is huge. Just understanding the world in that way. And, a lot of folks in education refer to it rather as computational thinking. Coding is under that umbrella, but computational thinking, being able to process in that way is huge. And there are many of our students who don't want to do software engineering. We were just at IBM doing a design thinking workshop this past Saturday, which was great. And folks, some of them want to be designers, but if they can design and code, they're in higher demand. Yeah. They can command higher salaries. Some of them want to be nurses. That's great. If you're the only nurse on the floor who can also code, I mean, imagine what that means in terms of mobility. And you're just in higher demand. And so what I would say is there are a lot of free resources. That's one of the biggest things I would say. Free. That is one of the reasons why I wanted to start Code to College, because our programming is free. Students don't pay anything. Yet they're able to secure internships where they're making $5,000-$6,000 over the summer. A multiple of what their classmates are making over the summer at jobs like lifeguarding, etc. And so I would say first thing is there are tons of free resources out there from Google, Code Anywhere, Python Anywhere, Khan Academy, Code Academy. There's just so much out there to get started, and it doesn't take anything. With respect to accessibility, because I was saying before, not every family has accessibility. Sometimes I take meetings outside of Starbucks. Yeah. They got great strong Wi-Fi. I will sit, and a lot of people do that. They'll apply for jobs and stuff by sitting with their laptop outside of a Starbucks or inside a McDonald's or anywhere where there's free. Go to the library if you can. So there's almost no reason to not have access to the internet today.
And is that so? The thing that you were talking about right there is one thing that's really coming to my mind as you're speaking was the educational part of it. Because when you're saying that, this is something that you want to do, or this is the direction you want to go, whether it be financial, like you said, nurse, or if you want to be a designer, you're educating them on how they can create more demand with their skill level based on if they are able to do coding as well. Because it is, I don't think you can automate some things, but it still has to be coded in for it to be automated. We even, well, they don't know about it because it's the web design part, but we even was creating something to where we can build a website by speaking to it. Like first by typing in or selecting things that you want, and it populates, but everything is like pre-coded. But when a lot of people think of coding, there's a lot of different avenues with it as well. It's not just like web design or not just mobile app. Like you can kind of branch off towards engineering with it in a way in a whole bunch of different fields. But it was interesting when you were speaking about that because I was thinking largely about the educational part, especially the people that don't have I don't really like to say don't have the resources these days, but I like to say they don't understand where the resources are and how to be able to acquire those resources and use it. Like you're talking about the library. I live in Hutto, and every summer the library has something in my kids are home for the summer, and I got to do something with them. And so I'll take them to the library, and they have so many things, not just reading and stuff, but they have a lot of things that may pertain to coding and different things of that nature. But educating the students, and then you may have talked about this a little bit earlier, or it's kind of what Chris was talking about, educating the parents. What's the difficulty with that? Because that's a whole, even though these parents, it's young, these parents maybe in their 30s or 40s, how do you educate the parents on helping their kids use these resources or direct them? Or do you have to teach both of them? Is it best or easy to teach the parent, or do you just have to approach them different ways?
So one of the biggest challenges I face and we face as an organization in even connecting with parents in the first place is because they're dispersed. If I want to reach the students, I'll go to the school and I will say, can you do announcements? Can I go to classes? I can connect with the students. I want to connect with the parents. You can send a flyer home, but then you're also waiting for the student to actually pass on the flyer. There's this online blast that some districts pay for called Peach Jar, but not every parent signs up for that. So you don't.
My wife may have, but I don't know.
So it's
part of the problem.
It's been challenging. It's been challenging to reach parents. If we can reach them, then we can at least start to work towards that education. But that's been another stakeholder group. that we've been trying to reach, and frankly that we have not leveraged as much as we can. We see our students 2 to 6 hours per week, 6 hours on the weeks when they've got a workshop that weekend. Students are with their parents over 100 hours, at least in the, under the same roof, and we want to leverage them. It's been challenging to reach them. One other thing I wanted to leave you all and your listeners with is this statistic. So 50% of female, 50% of low income, 2/3 of Hispanic, and nearly 3/4 of Black undergraduate students who initially select a STEM major, they ultimately switch to a liberal arts degree or drop out completely, right? And there are any number of reasons, between financial reasons, psychosocial reasons, I don't belong here, etc. And that's exactly what we're working to change, because we want students to know you do belong here, you can do this, by giving them that exposure to, again, as I was saying, adults who aren't their parents, who aren't their teachers, who they can call Daniel or Samantha and not, Miss. Most of our students, they call me Mr. Matt until April of that school year. But we're helping them with those things that you have to work through, and we all typically stumble through. Yeah. And teaching them the technical skills, giving them a leg up with developing a resume your high school year, developing your interview skills your high school year, getting an internship while you're still in high school, all those things. So when you get to college and somebody says, you don't belong here, it's like, what are you kidding me? I've been doing this since high school.
It's nothing new for them.
Yeah. This is cake.
They're prepared.
Yeah.
I like it. You take over, Samantha.
Oh, I can take over now? All right. Well, I think that's all we have for today. This is Matt Stephenson? Stephenson. Sorry. Matt Stephenson for Code to Code. So where can the audience find you online?
So online, code2college.org. That's code, 2, college.org. But also on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and Twitter at code, 2, college.
All right. So this has been the Startup Social Podcast with Samantha Rojas and Matt Stephenson.
And we're hiring.
And they're hiring. So thank you for listening, guys. Bye-bye.